Hello, welcome back to Math with Mr. Hengst. Today we'll still be going over Unit 1. This is the next part to it, which is adding integers. So today I'll be going over several different ways you can approach adding integers by using visuals, making drawings, using number lines, and everything in between. So there's several different strategies. You don't have to use all. You can just pick one that works with you and go along with that. So I hope this video helps give some explanation to that if you're confused or just now learning how to do this. So let's get into it. Okay. So the first thing we need to know before we add integers is we need to know what a zero pair is. So zero pair is basically when you have one positive and one negative number. They cancel each other out and make zero. For example, if you have a positive, or in money sense, if you have $1 and a negative, which maybe you have to pay for something that's $1, you now have no money. It's zero, right? They cancel each other out. This is very important going into the next section of how I add integers. So we need to know that a zero pair, one positive and one negative, they cancel each other out, right? They make a zero pair. It's zero. Now that we know what a zero pair is, we'll get into putting this first method into use. So I like to use this method the best, but sometimes you can't really use it because depending on how big the numbers is, it's kind of unreasonable. But so basically what I'm doing is I'm going to draw on the board, but if you have these at home or if you use these in school, teachers provide them, then this can be used as well. These are counting chips where one side of the chip is yellow, one other side is red, okay? For this purpose, I'm using different colors to represent positive and negative. So blue representing positive, red representing negative. But even if you just have a pencil or a black Expo marker, one circle can be not colored in and one can be colored in to represent positives and negatives. But for this purpose, we're going to use red and blue. So if we have a question that asks maybe -4 plus 5, right? And we want to figure out what this is. Using these different colored circles, we can figure it out by just drawing a picture. Or if you have the chips, you can use chips, right? So I'm going to draw a picture. So we got 4 negatives, right? So I'm going to draw 4 circles that are red. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And we're adding 5. Okay, it's a positive 5 because there's no negative sign in front of it. It's just a positive 5. So we're going to draw 5 blue circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now to solve this problem, we're going to need to make pairs. We're going to need to bring in those zero pairs. So what I'm going to do, if we know one positive and one negative cancels each other out, makes it a 0, right? I'm going to cross them out. So 1 negative and 1 positive. That makes 1 zero pair. Right? I'm going to do another. 2 zero pairs. 3 zero pairs. 4 zero pairs. Okay? So we're going to keep doing this until one of our colors is all out. All crossed out, right? So for this purpose, all of my negatives are crossed out and I'm left over with 1 blue dot. Okay, we're going to count them up. 1, it's a blue dot, which means it's a positive 1. So the answer to this problem, -4 plus 5, is positive 1. All right, so now I'm going to do another example just for a better explanation, more practice, right? So we got this another one. We got this another problem. 3 plus -7. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and draw some dots, draw some visuals for this. So I have 1, 2, 3. 3 positives, and we have 7 negatives. So I'm going to have to draw 7 red dots for this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we're going to add these together. We need to make our zero pairs first. And remember, it's very important that you make sure you cross out. If you cross out 3 negative or 3 positives, you need to cross out 3 negatives. What we don't want happening is us losing track and maybe crossing out 3 positives and 4 negatives because we're doing it super fast because it kind of defeats the purpose of using this method. So we're going to cross out 1 blue, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 positive, 1 negative, and we have 3 0 pairs, okay? So now we need to count up what's left. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted 4 dots, and those dots are red, right? So we need to make sure we keep up with our signs, right? So since the red are negatives, this is -4. Okay? And again, if you don't have different color markers or you don't have chips or anything to differentiate the two positives and negatives, you can do this with just a same color, right? So I'll do it right here just to show an example of how that will be done. So maybe instead, my positives are going to be an open circle, my negatives are going to be a colored in circle, right? So for 3 positives plus 7 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? The same thing, cross out 3 to make 3 0 pairs, and you will still get the same result. Okay, so here's another example of a problem you may see. You may see -5 plus -2. So we're adding 2 negative numbers together. So let me draw that out and show you what this would look like when we're adding 2 negatives together. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 negatives representing this -5. And then over here, we're going to draw 2. 1, 2. So this represents -5 plus 2. Okay, so now we don't have 2 different colors to match up to make 0 pairs. We can't cross anything out here because they're all the same color. So what are we going to do? We're just going to count. We're going to skip the 0 pair part, and we're just going to go to the counting part. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 7 red dots, right? And since they're red, since they represent negative numbers, we got to keep that sign, okay? So -5 plus -2 equals -7. So when you're adding integers, you're not always going to make 0 pairs. Only when we're dealing with positive and negative numbers. Okay, if the signs are the same, like if this was 5 plus 2, right? And these were blue dots, it'd be the same thing, but it would be a positive number. All right, so the next strategy we can use to add integers is by using a number line, okay? So this is something you can maybe draw on your paper. I know it takes a little more time, but it helps you get the point across, right? So for this example, we have 4 plus -2. All right, one thing we need to know is for positive numbers, we go to the right, just like how positive numbers grow as we go to the right of the number line, and negative numbers go to the left. So we're going to take that into consideration when we're doing this problem. One thing to know is we always start at 0. You always start at 0 when using this strategy. So we're going to use arrows, or you can do jumps to help show you. So I'll show arrows first. So we're going to go to 4, +4, so we're going to the right. So we're going to start at 0, go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And currently we're at +4. Then we're going to go left 2 because we have a -2. So we're going to pick back up where we left off and go 1, 2, right? And this will get us our answer, right? We're at +2. So 4 plus -2 will get us +2. Another way you can do this without using the arrows, if you wanted to maybe the arrows are too hard to kind of match up with the number line, so you can just do jumps. So we got start at 0, go 4 to the right, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we need to jump backwards, go to the left 2 spots. So we just go back 1, 2, and we are at +2 again. So this is one way you can use a number line to help you when adding integers. This is total preference if you want to use the last strategy we talked about or the number line. So the last strategy I'm going to go over is a little more complex, and it's something that we're going to use whenever we have these big numbers and we don't have enough room to draw a number line that goes to 20, or we don't want to draw 20 and 15 dots and cross them out, as we may get confused. So this is what I like to use for bigger numbers. Okay, to use this strategy, you kind of have to have an understanding of how we add integers, right? And we have to have an understanding of just certain basic math facts. So when we look at this, we got 20 plus 15, okay? We know that we use 0 pairs to cancel them out, right? To make 0 pairs to figure out our answer with that first strategy, correct? So we're going to do the same thing here, okay? But except this time, I'm going to take 20, and I'm taking 20 because it's our biggest number. We see that 20 is bigger than 15. I'm not looking at the signs here, I'm just looking at the number portion. Because theoretically, right, if I see 20 plus negative 15, when making 0 pairs, I'm going to have positives left over, which is why I chose 20 to begin with. Okay, I'm going to split this up into 2 numbers. So I know I'm going to need 15 0 pairs. So I'm going to go ahead and put 15 here. And then you need to think about what number plus 15, what's another number you could put with 15 to get you 20, right? That would be 5. Because 15 plus 5 will get you 20. Okay? So I can just, if we had our imaginary 0 pairs, right? Positive 15 and negative 15 cancel each other out. And what are we left with? Positive 5. So our answer to 20 plus negative 15 would be positive 5. I'm going to go ahead and do another example to further explain this strategy to get a better understanding. Alright, so the next problem we have is 15 plus negative 40. So again, we're going to look at what the bigger number is, just not looking at the sign as of right now. 40 is bigger than 15. So I know 40 is going to be the number I'm going to break down, right? But this time, it's a negative number. It's not like how our last one we had 20, positive 20, right? We're going to need to break down negative 40. So, right, when we have our 0 pairs, we need to think we're going to have 15 0 pairs in this problem. Okay, so I'm going to do negative 15 up here. Okay, what plus 15 can get us 40? 25, because 25 plus 15 will get you 40, right? So make our imaginary 0 pair, negative 15, and the positive 15 from our problem cancel each other out, and we are left with negative 25. So this is a strategy you can use to solve integer problems that you're adding whenever we may not have enough space to do the number lines or draw all the circles. You may not have enough room on your paper or on your desk to do this sort of problem with visuals. So this is how you can break it down. And if this is a strategy you're comfortable with, you can do this even with the smaller numbers, okay? All right, so that will be the end of this lesson. I hope the 3 strategies that I went over help you when you're adding integers and coming across these kind of problems. It's totally a preference thing. If you like that first strategy with the circles, go ahead and use that. If you like the number line, use that. If you are totally comfortable with breaking the number down into 2 different numbers that equal it and then making the 0 pairs that way, go ahead and do that, right? It's a total preference thing. I would suggest maybe going over these different strategies, maybe coming up with problems on your own or looking some up online and trying to solve those problems out and use a calculator to check your answer to see if you got the correct answer. This will help you figure out which strategy works best for you, which strategy you don't like, and it will also give you more practice whenever you have to come across these problems in school. So I hope this video helped. If I didn't clarify anything or maybe you have some questions over something I did, something I didn't explain as well, please leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope this video helps and I hope we are now learning how to add integers. So I'll see you next video.